Oh, are we live? Yes, we are. Right. What's that?
Where do I use the bike? I only use what's in the bike. I've got storage, huh? Why not?
Some bike don't have
I'm fucking pissed. I mean, there isn't a fucking scale on this goddamn planet that can measure how fucking pissed I am right the fuck now. Hey, so yeah. I can't get any of these cowardly fucks to debate me unless someone can give me a good fucking reason to keep doing this. I'm fucking giving it up. I got better things to do with my time. Nobody ever cites my work. My Angles to Polaris video. Nobody ever cites that. It's not the best one in the world, but it's fucking something, with a physical model. And it gets a lot of compliments. So I know it's not complete shit. Nobody ever plays my videos on their live streams. Or even little bits of it. When was the last time anybody shared any of my videos? My most popular video is the Angles to Polaris video. And it has less than 1,000 fucking views and it's 2 years old. And I've got a shit community fucking not doing anything to fucking keep me doing it. Like I said, unless someone can give me a good fucking reason why I should keep streaming, I'm done. So, thanks for the fish. I'm so pissed off right now. I've got a shit community. Made me look like a fucking asshole. Motherfucker! Fucking asshole! Motherfucker! I'm so pissed off right now.
Your world is full of illusions, contradiction between fact and fiction.
Fucking talking shit
You never back your claims.
like a little cowardly bitch. Fucking talking shit.
Driving the wrong way down a one-way street.
Motherfucker!
Unstoppable force on immovable feet.
You don't know how fucking pissed I am.
Straight lines converging distance.
Fucking
Why
asshole.
do I get so much resistance? I know
Fucking talking
you'll
shit
never prove me wrong.
right the fuck now. God damn it, fucker!
Now we get our physics deniers, pathologic compulsive lies. I know you'll never prove me wrong.
You don't know how fucking pissed I am.
Driving the wrong way down a one-way street.
I get fucking emasculated by Jose J.G. Gonzalez.
It's where knowledge and ignorance meet.
Fucking asshole! Motherfucker!
Paradoxes and confusion. Your mind is in delusion.
Fucking talking shit!
We all know you're insane.
God damn it! I can't get one of these pussies after fucking talking shit to this motherfucker. I fucking still like him, but he fucking pissed me off. Motherfucker! God damn, he owes me a fucking apology.
Talk about your 2D surface. We all know you ain't got no purpose in life. We think that you live on board.
I get fucking emasculated.
Driving the wrong way down the one-way street.
I get fucking emasculated by Jose J.G. Gonzalez.
It's when knowledge and ignorance meet.
Fucking talking shit, motherfucker!
Paradoxes and confusion. Your mind is in delusion.
Fucking talking shit!
We all know you're insane. We all know you're insane.
I get fucking emasculated by Jose J.G. Gonzalez, and I'm pretty fucking pissed off. That's all I've got to say about it. Motherfucker! Made me look like a fucking asshole!
What do you mean, like, if they ask you to wear pink?
And we are live. Welcome, everybody. Free for All Friday. Come and talk about whatever you want tonight, whatever interests you. Come and have a chat. We're going to be doing the usual Friday night. Bit of gaming. Everybody's free to come in and talk about whatever they want. It is Monday. What's the
Monday? Did you just say Monday?
is it? Did I?
It's
Friday.
not Monday.
It's Friday. It feels
I was
like
gonna say.
like Monday. Model affliction. So, anybody free to come in, talk about anything that interests you. I think the hot topic at the minute should be proof and geometric proof. And how the globe model doesn't have any. And mainly Beddy's logic. Logical proof of horizontals being parallel that he brought us the other day. I just flipped it around, but the perpendicular relationship of that. Horizontals being parallel, verticals being parallel. There isn't much difference between the two. That's what we went over last night. I don't expect anybody to pick up on that, particularly any of the model afflicted people to come in. But I mean, anybody want to come in and talk about your model? You're free to do it tonight. Model affliction Monday, obviously. But anything goes tonight, any sort of topic. Anybody? Has anybody got any topics they would like to talk about tonight? Probably not.
How about, has Geo's turned into a mini gem?
Well, I wouldn't know because I've never been over there. So I wouldn't know.
To which one?
Geo's. But for quite a while. I don't know what it was. Could say it was possibly turning into it with Zanuck and all of those people coming over there. Seems like the people that can't get into gems, or the people that get talked over at gems, seem to go over there now. I think I think it's about time we go over. I'm just trying to develop these geometric proofs, and then we'll go and have a talk with people. Different sorts of people. We'll go to university lecturers. We'll go to different people and ask them about geometric proofs and whether they think they can find a geometric way to deny Beddy's logic. Because I quite like Beddy's logic, his question. I think these bins have been done here. Just finding shite. Where are you?
What are you doing?
Why?
I'm not. I'm just grabbing stuff. Hang on.
Is there anything in them? Don't think so. Nothing in any of mine.
You weren't looking hard enough.
Mm. Have you been getting some good stuff then? Dumpster diving on GTA RP. We've had our lives threatened for dumpsters, for looking in these dumpsters. So does nobody want to pick a topic for conversation? Maybe all of the stuff we've gone over this week, perhaps it's a bit too much to go over it. Is my sound working? Check the Discord. You can hear us in Discord, right? Yeah. Maybe not. Beddy did actually leave the server because he said he was going to do an update to his thing, and then some people talked to him, and he then left the server, presumably so he doesn't have to come and finish off the conversation about his presentation that he did the other day. I would have liked to have had a conversation with Beddy about the horizontal statements that he made. Maybe about his debunking of horizontal planes being parallel that he attempted to do. But alas, he's left the server. After thanking us for being able to give him his presentation.
Yeah, you know, I thought dodos went extinct, but he said he has them in his brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe that's why he left the server.
Is that not like a Pete Shea kind of thing?
Yeah.
Isn't he obsessed with dodos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he always said the map of the world, I guess, like his flat Earth map, looked like a dodo. You know, all the continents together.
Was it all of them? Oh, I thought it was just Antarctica.
No, you just take everything on that flat Earth map, and it looks like a dodo to him, I guess.
Mm.
So he's got dodos in his brain too.
Yeah.
Must be a common thing.
There are dodos in my mind. Quote, Beddy, 2022.
I think he might have been watching too much Alice in Wonderland. That's the only other thing I remember the dodo from. Pete Shea and Alice in Wonderland.
So the one with Johnny Depp.
There you go. That's well done.
Oh my
Paper.
goodness. No. I wasn't. Do you know what? I've never even seen that version.
Give us a summation of the trial. Did it end today?
Yeah. Yawn, 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 yawn. But it was funny watching two actors act out this stuff. It was just funny.
Yep. A made for TV drama.
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolute entertainment to distract everybody from anything.
Did the judge rule, or is there a jury that's going to rule?
It's a jury.
Oh, wow.
Not
Are they
Ranty.
deliberating?
Sure, Ranty's
Well-
going to have a say somehow, right? A social commentator.
Of course. Yeah. No. There was a good channel that I watched though, for some of it. She's a lawyer, Emily D. Baker, I think. She knows what she's talking about as well, so she was quite good to listen to.
So, like, how long is the jury going to deliberate, though? Like a week?
Oh, dude, I didn't watch it that much.
Oh, okay.
I have no
I thought you were an
idea.
expert.
No. No. I just watched bits and pieces just to see what was going on.
Oh, noise. So yeah, I guess we'll have to check with Ranty to get a summation of it.
I wouldn't know. I don't know a single thing about it at all. What? Whoa. Paper, you've been going into this too much, man. See, there's a subject here. Wow. You've got
Betty posted to me this paradox and wanted to have a chat about that.
Betty wanted to have a chat with you about the paradox.
Correct.
The dodo paradox.
Yes.
So that's what he wanted to get at. I think I'm going to have to swap these windows over. Yeah.
So this is my response, which he generally ignored, because he wanted to ask me yes or no question. Then I wrote to him that his yes or no question is malfunctional, and then he quit the chat. But generally, this is my response, regardless if it was in a private chat or not, because anyway, I was going to generally reply to this paradox.
Can you guys see that paradox in the Discord chat and on the YouTube? This is, I guess, an extension of Betty's presentation on Wednesday, where they went over the dodo for seemed like hours, maybe even half a day or something like that. It seemed like. Well, we'll go over this, right? This is Betty, and I think he's made himself a paradox. Oh, I don't know.
This is dodo paradox. It's a well-known paradox.
Is it? This is a well-known
Yes.
paradox.
Yes.
Right, so, 1. Suppose dodos do not exist. There's no dodos.
That's not good. Heroin.
Yes.
Who had that?
This is
Look had it originally
this
and
is
then
what
triads, didn't he?
logicians, modern, even not modern logicians say, that you have to, in that case, if you are creating such argumentation, you have to assume that dodo exists. So if you are assuming that dodo don't exist, therefore you will end in paradox. And my this long text is step by step explaining how many fallacies you have to do to end in the last conclusion. Generally, I think this is full explanation of every step in that process, in that argumentation.
Well, you see, it says there, right? It says the first one, suppose dodos do not exist. That's your first step. Well, dodos don't exist. So there's no need to suppose it at all. Dodos don't
Yes.
exist. So unless Beddy's saying that dodos may exist, we just haven't found them yet on some remote island or something somewhere. If that's the claim, then fair enough. But with the paradox that starts off, suppose dodos do not exist, well, they don't. And that was agreed upon at the beginning. So there's no need for us to suppose it other than for this argument.
Especially for this argument, because in the second sentence you have then, therefore,
Mm-hmm.
not therefore, then.
Yeah.
This is your first sentence. Every dodo is a bird is false, because if you suppose that dodos don't exist, therefore the second statement, every dodo is a bird, is false. And I explained to him that this is false dichotomy, because first sentence is referring to existence of dodos, and the second is not referring to existence of dodos, but it's referring to existence dodos as a bird. So the second statement is definition. That every dodo is a bird. This is definition. So it doesn't state that every or non-dodo exists or not in particular, because if you say every, it means you have in meaning individual beings. But the statement every dodo is a bird is definition. This is that's why it's called categorical statement. But if you suppose dodos do not exist, it means that you have in mind particular and individual entities. Therefore, it means that the second statement is not related at all with first. They are not related. So the second statement is not following the first. So I cannot say that is false or true, because it doesn't follow from first sentence that every dodo is a bird, or every dodo is not a bird. Whatever you say in the second sentence, it doesn't follow from first sentence. This is non sequitur fallacy.
See, like, this sounds like intellectual fuckwittery to me.
Yes, this is how paradoxes are set.
Well, I don't think their paradoxes exist. This is a word messing around with, right? So suppose dodos do not exist, then
Yes,
every dodo is a bird. How does that follow from supposing
it doesn't
dodos do
follow.
not exist. What's that?
I think Spot On has some mic issues. No, you,
Tried the challenge and it started vibrating. I think you got picked up on that. Sorry.
That's why I write, if you start from negation of subject, this is supposing that dodos don't exist. This is supposing this is negation of the subject in premise. You are forced to negate non-existence, because in the second sentence it is demanded to negate existence of dodo. So this is idiotic, because you have to negate non-existence. After negating non-existence, i.e. non-existent doesn't exist, conclusion would be that non-existent does exist. And this is clearly what Socrates said. It was a Socratian ironic statement, or sarcastic even statement. I know that I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, this is because this is contradiction. In this sense, this sentence is contradictory, because if you know that you don't know nothing, therefore you know something. That's why predicating about nothingness is preposterous, and that's why in some tables or squares of this, in this logic square, is annotation if S exists, because otherwise, if you suppose that dodos do not exist, you will end in paradox anyway.
Yeah. It's
Well,
talking about things that don't exist that worries me. How you can make an argument about it and then say there's a paradox at the end of a statement, right? At the end of some sort of a thing, you can start off by saying something doesn't exist that you know doesn't exist, but then supposing it doesn't exist, and end up with some sort of a paradox that states that dodos do exist.
I know you've got people in your ears and shit.
yes, because this is nonsense, because if dodos don't exist, and in the second sentence you are creating definition for dodo, this is that's why it's called empty term, because this is just pure fantasy. So if you say every dodo is a bird, this is definition. This is definition like that every elf is immortal, for example. You can define that in that way, elves. But you know that elves don't exist. But you can define elves. They are immortal beings. It doesn't make any sense, but you can do that. But it doesn't follow that they exist, elves, because these dodos you can superpose with whatever you want. In the medieval era, they used the word chimera. They were talking about chimeras.
So Betty wants to have a chat with you about this, does he?
Yes, and he insisted to answer his question, because he wanted me to admit that first sentence is contradictory to second, and he wanted yes or no answer. So if dodos don't exist, then every dodo is a bird. This statement is false. And he was forcing me to answer this question, yes or no. And my answer was, I don't know. That only honest answer I can give him is that I don't know if this second sentence is false or true, because it is not sequitur. It doesn't follow. Therefore, I cannot know if this second statement is false or true.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're talking about something that you're supposing doesn't exist. Not that it doesn't exist. You are supposing something doesn't exist.
Yes, because if dodos don't exist, I cannot know if every dodo is a bird.
Can't know
I
what
cannot
it
know
is.
that.
It doesn't
Yes,
exist. You haven't got a clue what it is.
That's why defining non-existent entities is absurd, because you still don't know. It doesn't give you an answer if they exist, or even if every dodo is a bird. It's just nonsense.
I'd have to agree. What would it say to you though, if you're talking to somebody? Because like we were doing the basics of Aristotle's logic, right? And I know he did say the was it the refutations or whatever at the end, what that we haven't even got to yet. Sophistical refutations. Now, would this be part of that? Because I don't think he mentioned much of it, and he didn't mention that this is some sort of a fallacy.
I named this fallacy. There are more.
Yeah.
In this. Wait a second.
But this is a refutation against sophists, right? That this particularly, this entire argument about dodos not existing and then finding some sort of a paradox that you can end up with them existing, right? Something that you assume doesn't exist, to end up with some sort of a intellectual fuckwuttery argument that says there's a paradox that says they must exist also, sounds to me like sophistry.
Yes, but that kind of paradoxes many times were created for educational purpose, because the task for the pupil is to find error, because if you have that paradoxal statement at the end, therefore, if dodos do not exist, then they do exist, because this is following this formal logic. You will end with that conclusion, which is of course absurd. So the task for learners was to find fallacy, because if you find fallacy, therefore you are resolving paradox. Resolving paradox is not that you are going to right conclusion instead of wrong conclusion, but because you in a paradox you cannot find right conclusion. But your goal is to show fallacy. If you show fallacy, therefore you resolve the paradox.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious there is a paradox, right? When you find a paradox, it's obvious that the paradox is there because there is a contradiction, and it's glaringly obvious. The task is to find out where the mistake is, right? The fallacy is there's a mistake in your reasoning that's
Yes,
led
yes.
you to a paradoxical conclusion. So you should then be able to go, aha, that's wrong. Where
Yes, and
has it happened? Where's it occurred? Where's the
yes,
sophistry within this, I think?
and I found that and named it. I can read that, but I don't know if it would be boring for um,
Well, I mean, there's no need to go over it, right? But the very idea, right, that Betty is challenging you for this. What do you think the idea of that is?
I think that he wanted to check if I am smart enough to find
Yeah.
that fallacy.
And do you think he will say, "Well done"? Now you found you found my little trick that we were trying to play on you. Where's he go from that now?
No. He generally he gave up because I think that he didn't read that long text, and he went to his Socratian method, or what he thought that is Socratian method. So he insists to answer his yes or no question. But he didn't refer, absolutely he didn't to this text.
Yeah.
Sadly.
So paper, was this all after he left the server or before he left the server?
Yes, he wrote to me that he left the server, but he put this paradox on private chat, and I normally I would not speak about private chat, but this dodo paradox was put on the table on live stream, so
Yep.
this is no longer private. And my response, although it was private, but anyway, I wanted to refute this paradox anyway, in, let's say, more public way. So I just copy pasted from private chat my response to this paradox.
Yeah, and I for
there,
one. Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
so there are many fallacies here.
Yeah.
For example, he ignored, for example, one proof. Therefore, as they don't exist this at all, because supposing dodos do not exist, it means they don't exist at all. It means not only they don't exist as birds, which is different statement, but
Yep.
they don't exist at all. And this is proof a fortiori that they cannot also um, exist as bird. This is from stronger argument. Stronger argument is better than weaker, of course. So this is refutation for the second sentence.
Yep.
And if some dodos are not birds, it doesn't automatically imply that they don't exist at all. In that case, it is non sequitur argument. Therefore, a sentence in which case a dodo does exist, namely the one which is not a bird, refers to dodos not being birds only, and doesn't refer to non-existence of dodo at all. It means that this argumentation is also non sequitur because it refers to the statement but if not every dodo is a bird, one dodo is not a bird. It doesn't imply that dodos do not exist. The statement states only that some dodos are not birds. It doesn't state that they don't exist. So,
Right.
so this is another non sequitur argument.
Yep. Yeah. So here's what I think, right? And I don't know why Betty was going down that road. He left the server. Maybe he'll come back and explain himself. But Bev, to your point on whether or not this is sophistry, and we'll get into that eventually, that's pretty damn close in my opinion. So here's why, right? So we talked about defining things, right? We talked about the Porphyrian tree. We talked about being able to predicate things in order to categorize them into their species, genera, and then show the differentia to get definitions, good definitions. Remember that whole thing?
Yep,
Mhm.
yep. Yes, I
So,
remember.
so if you suppose that something doesn't exist, those words mean things, right? Non-existence means you cannot know whatever it is you're about to speak about because it doesn't exist. You cannot know. You can't know whether a dodo is a bird,
Message Bobby to see if he knows any
an
spot.
object, an inanimate object, whether it's alive at all. You know nothing about it. Why? Because it doesn't exist. Just because you've named something that somebody in their mind thinks exists or existed at one time is irrelevant. As soon as you say it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. It's wiped. Period. You can't predicate on it. You can't know anything about it. So therefore, you're exactly right, Paper. You can't know. There's no way to know whether a dodo is a bird. Why? Because it doesn't exist. And if it doesn't exist, you can't categorize it. You don't know what its species is. You don't know what its genera is. You don't know what any of the differentia is, so you can't define it. And if you can't define it, guess what? You can't predicate on it and you can't know anything about it.
And you cannot say if the statement is false or
Correct.
true.
Correct. You know nothing about it because it doesn't exist.
That's why I responded to Betty that the only honest response is I don't know.
Correct.
I don't know if this second statement is false or true. I don't know.
Correct. That's 100% correct.
And I don't know because this second statement doesn't follow the first.
Correct.
Because in the definition, because it's kind of definition. Every dodo is a bird, it's kind of definition. And if we say every dodo is, it means that we implicitly we assume that this species exists. This is this copula in
Yep.
the statement in
Yep.
predication is a bird. So if it is a bird, therefore it has to exist. But in the first sentence, we say that dodos not exist.
Correct.
So therefore, we it means that it is only contradictory in that state, in that sense that dodos are not birds.
Yep. 100% correct. So yeah, I don't know where he would have been going with that.
But by having this discussion, are you not bringing dodos into existence?
Yes.
And what is the purpose for bringing non-existent things into existence in the first place?
Only for logic exercise.
Yep.
Logical exercise.
Paradoxes are for resolving paradoxes, and resolving paradoxes, it is, as I said before, it is not the purpose of resolving paradox to find true conclusion or correct conclusion, formally correct, because you cannot. It is impossible. Your goal is to find fallacy. Why this is paradox? If you find fallacy, therefore you resolve paradox.
Yeah.
This is not the goal of resolving paradox because some people think that I have to overthink this and I will find correct response. No, you cannot. This is not the goal. Goal
Correct.
is to point out fallacy. Therefore, you are correct.
Yeah. Which is why I said, is this sophistry? Because I think it is. It's at least on Betty's behalf, right? He's bringing a paradox, which is an exercise to find the fallacy, in an attempt to try and confuse us. But I mean, he's obviously asked the wrong person, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I think so.
it's pretty obvious that if it's a paradox, then there's a problem somewhere in it, and yeah, it's pretty easy to find out where the problem is, especially when you're starting off with assume something doesn't exist and then find a paradox that it does exist. I mean, it just sounds ridiculous to me anyway.
Even because he gave me some links to modern logicians, and they admit that in some cases, such as dodo paradox, you cannot assume, this is generally forbidden to assume that S not exists. So they have annotation for S if S exists, because if S doesn't exist, you will end in paradox anyway. So this is like dividing by zero. This is forbidden in arithmetics.
Exactly right.
Because if you would try to have proportion between something and zero, it means nothing. You cannot set proportion between something and nothing. It is impossible. That's why you cannot divide by zero. And here we have a similar situation. Sometimes you cannot follow this path in argumentation because it is fallacious. Therefore, you will not obtain true. That's why if you find fallacy in argumentation, you do not need to argue more against that paradox. You can say that, oh, I spotted fallacy, therefore you are wrong anyway. So you do not need to argue more about this or other paradox. You just end here. I spotted fallacy. Game over.
Yeah. Once you can point at it and go, there's the fallacy that leads to the paradox. The paradox has disappeared. It's gone. There's no paradox. The fallacy has been found. And then, therefore, game over.
Yep. And in this case, there are multiple paradox fallacies here.
Yeah. Which is why we've brought up the horizontal paradox. And they've never seemed to find the fallacy within it because there is none. It's not a paradox. Horizontals are parallel. The only paradox comes when you place a model there. The model brings the paradox. So therefore, the fallacy is the model.
Yeah, and it does. I was just going to say it does go to the definitions of everything, right?
Yeah,
because
it has to.
It has to. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you say if it exists or doesn't exist. As soon as you say X exists, or sorry, doesn't exist, that's it. As we've said, it's game over right at that point. Because if it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. And it doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't matter if you call it something that you think exists in reality. You may as well call it doomaflage. Suppose doomaflage doesn't exist. Well, does anybody know what doomaflage is? Because I just made up that word. I have no idea if it's a word or not. Right. But that's the point, right? It hasn't been defined. And if something doesn't exist, it hasn't been defined.
I think it means like you're a Dumas, but you're like trying to hide it.
Doom. That's good, Cleary. I like it. It exists now. Thank you. It's nice. Yeah, but it's totally nonsensical. Totally nonsensical. And if you're using it as a teaching moment, terrific. You get to that point and someone struggles with it and struggles with it and struggles with it, when you could have just said, at the end of the exercise, and you say, look, as soon as someone makes the statement, X doesn't exist, whatever the X is, game over. That's it. End of discussion. You're no longer in logic land.
Yeah, you cannot predicate upon it.
No.
Right?
It's impossible. How do you say something about that which doesn't exist? Think about that. And that's why Paper was saying yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? I don't know. Days are all running together. But that even for things that don't really exist in reality, like we had the discussion about Superman, you have to believe that it exists. You have to act like it does exist, not that it doesn't exist. You have to suspend disbelief, and then you have to admit, yeah, Superman exists. Okay, now I can predicate on it. Okay, what is Superman? And then you can categorize Superman. You can do all sorts of things at that point. But you've now pretended, so to speak, that Superman exists. You've spoken him into existence. Now carry on. But as soon as you say it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. That's it. Game over.
First thing, you have to assume something positively, because if you are starting of negation with negation, therefore this is nonsense, because you have to negate nothing. This is idiotic.
Yep.
You have to negate something. If you are saying that this cat is not white, but therefore you have to be able to see white cat, and then you can negate it, because if you haven't seen any white cat, you can't even say that this cat is not white.
But you could see a black cat, right? There has to be the subject, the cat.
Right.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Right. So you could see the cat and be able to say you cannot predicate white of that cat because that cat is black. Right? You can predicate black of it. Or you could predicate this cat is not white. But you have to have the cat. Don't you?
Because, yes, because negative predicament is not telling what the thing is or how the thing exists. It doesn't tell you.
But consider the amount of information the public receives. What percentage of it is of non-existent things, and what percentage that the public brings into existence of those things? Just consider that the information that the public receives over these past how long of non-existent things, yet they manage to manifest it into reality, even though it didn't exist. Just think about that.
Yep.
If that made any sense.
Yes, all media are doing all the time.
That's what I mean. These are non-existent things that are being put out there.
Or in false circumstances, in wrong context or out of context.
Paper, I just want to say much respect on your commentary, dude. Love your
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, I agree. And Paper, did you say that Betty did not get back to you? You sent him that long explanation and he didn't get back to you, or did?
He did. We have chat, but in this chat he didn't refer to my this response, which
Okay.
I put here, but he started to chat about first two sentences. This one, suppose dodos do not exist, and then every dodo is a bird is false. So from first sentence you can infer that the second is false. And he insisted to give him answer yes or not.
Yeah, he wanted you to fall into a trap, right? He
Mhm.
baited a
Yes,
trap
yes,
for you
and
that he
and I
expected you to fall into, and you went,
yes,
no.
and I wrote to him that he is leading me to fallacy, and that I don't want to do that. I wrote to him that.
Do you think he supposed that you weren't as smart as you were, or do you suppose that he assumes that other people around him don't see this? Because I personally think he has a paralogism that he can't see this fallacy. He can't see the fallacy within it because he relies on that as a paralogism, right? The conclusion that they come to at the end of this one with the paradox, it to him is an acceptable paradox. It's a story laid out that ends with a paradox. And to him, that's a proof that paradoxes exist.
I think that his problem, and not only his problem, but these modern logicians, that they think, I think that they think that paradox is to show that logic sometimes fails. Therefore, you can prove something. How to put it? You can prove things that are not provable, or like this, that if dodos don't exist, they do exist. That you can prove it. So you can prove upward by logic inference. Therefore, logic can serve us also to draw true conclusions and false conclusions. And that's why I think that they don't like if you spot the fallacy, because you are disarming them. Because if you spot fallacy in paradox, you are disarming opponent, and he cannot use anymore this fallacy because it's spotted.
I think they rely on the fallacy myself.
Yep. Yes,
Yeah.
because
Yep.
it is included in paradoxes. Fallacies are included.
Yeah.
This is you have included in package.
And that's where the sophist comes in, right? Because the sophist can see the fallacy, they can see the paradox, but they try to trick you into accepting that paradox, accepting the fallacy to come to that fallacious conclusion.
Yep. Because they would try to convince you that you see, this is logical inference. You cannot help. That's it. I prove false with logic.
Yeah, he was trying to show the flaws within Aristotle's logic, right? Or Aristotelian or Aristotle's logic, right? It was really confusing which one he was trying to do. But with obviously with the dodo thing, it was pretty clear that he's either got a paralogism and he can't see it and he's trying to get you to accept what he's already accepted, i.e. the paradox. It's accepted to Betty. Or he's trying sophistry to try and get you to accept the fallacy, for you to accept the paradox when he doesn't. It's a trick.
Yeah.
Either a trick that's been played on him that he wants you to join with, or a trick he's trying to play on you.
Yes, but anyway, Aristotle's logic stands still because this is he has no flaws in his logic works, but you can in opposite he shows that you cannot do everything with logic. Therefore, it is not that you cannot lie at will using logic. Because the logic is intended to be perfect weapon for truth, and cannot be perfect weapon for lie. And sophists would like to have perfect weapon for lie. That is logic, and Aristotle shows that this is impossible.
Yeah. Yeah. Just remember that Aristotle's logic has lasted millennia, right? It's only since the model logicians have come into it, and I think that's been the last couple of 100 years probably, where things have gotten muddied, right? And I think people have been trying to take apart Aristotle's logic for millennia. But if you understand the logic, like Paper says, you have a defense against the sophists and against the paralogists.
Right, and paradox. These two terms are very close because sometimes you can interchange between them.
Yeah, paralogists is what I was thinking.
I don't know whether that's a word, right? Because paralogist, it means you're doing it to somebody else, I think. Whereas a paralogism is done to,
or you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's it's it's really fortuitous that we've come across Aristotle's logic, because Bev, do you remember when somebody came in here talking about models, and if you had to have models or you were going to die, you'd die without models?
Yep.
You remember that?
You have to have a model. You can't have a model.
Yep.
Yep.
You can't not have a model. And most of, I think all of us here thought that sounds extremely illogical to me. And here's why exactly: because the model makers are doing what they're doing to get away from the lie, to be able to do what Paper says, to have a perfect method for lying. And that's my opinion. That's what the models are for, to have, and that's why we're caught in the middle on this server, right? In this arena of Big E, right? The Big E, the Earth. Is it flat Earth? Is it round Earth? Is it some other kind of Earth, convex, concave, whatever? And we on this server just say, it's reality, man. It's just go into the world. It's whatever it is. There is no Big E. If you want to entertain your model, entertain it in your head. Who gives a shit, right? Mm-hmm. Reality is reality. So, but the people that have the model and they're going to die without a model, they can't live with that. So there you go. You have the model is, in my opinion, the the perfect way to lie, because you can make anything out of anything if something doesn't exist. Isn't that so, Paper? Right? If you don't have logic, you can say anything about anything that doesn't exist in a model, and it's true. You can make it true.
Problem with models is that you have to have perfect model. It means self-consistent, coherent, and so on. But no one can create model of reality, any reality, that is perfect.
Correct.
So you cannot create perfect image of reality. And this is a problem for liars, because they are aware and should be aware that someone can spot that this model is not perfect. Therefore, it doesn't show perfectly reality. There are some flaws, some imperfections. Therefore, you know that you are talking, you are seeing model. Okay, I know that this is CGI. This is not reality. Even if these CGIs are more and more perfect, you can still see that this is not a real image. This is CGI. But some people are starting to believe that CGI is real footage from space, for example. I don't understand that, but more and more people are brainwashed. They are eating worse and worse bullshit. Maybe I am too old, but for me, I can see that CGI is CGI. It should be opposite. The younger people should see that CGI is bullshit because they are younger, more common with computers, with graphics, computer games, etc. But it is opposite. The more they are playing these games, watching these films with special effects and so on, the more they believing in CGI quote unquote reality. This is, for me, it's unbelievable, but it is.
Yep. Sounds like there's a bit of a kick-off going off outside here.
So let's talk about anything night, and we chose dodos, huh?
Well, no, I think we've chose fallacies and sophistry.
Yeah, that's what we exactly.
And exposing them. That's what the main thing is Paper. Betty seems like Betty tried to single Paper out within this, and like he's left the server, so he tried to have a one-on-one conversation with Paper about something.
This is no problem for me.
Yeah,
I can take mano a mano.
I think so too. No problem.
Yeah, it would have been better. He could have took you on mano a mano here, which would have been much easier, right? Within the conversation, he could have come and had a chat. Everybody else would have stepped down. But for some reason, he decided to leave and try and have a conversation with just you in a way that he could probably get away with it. I mean, was waiting for the next one for him to ask you if you wanted to go to Blues and talk about it over there.
You know, there are some positives in that, because he put this paradox again in private chat, and I have time for good response and thoughtful response. So because in when we are talking in flames of debate, you at least for me this is would be difficult to argue fluently, especially with my not very good spoken English. But if I have time to respond in letter, it is more convenient for me. And here you are.
Yeah, but if you were to have a debate, then the topic and the subject would be dealt with beforehand, and you would be able to prepare that and have the debate and go over your points, wouldn't you? I mean, rather than what we all choose to decide to call a debate is just two people meeting and having an argument about things and obfuscating things and trying to get around. Whereas the true debate, the subject is already put up forward and you can state your cases. You're given plenty of time to do that, which I think is what's needed round here. A true debate.
Yes, I can. I think this is lack of these debates. For example, I can that example or model, so to speak, debate. For example, I have seen, for example, Tangenis versus White. It is a religious debate, but if you are not interested in that kind of debates, but you can see one of them to learn how it is going on. The first statement, for example, 20 minutes for each side, then first rebuttal, second rebuttal, cross-examination questions, everything in good order, and last remarks or whatever, and equal time for each side. This, for me, this is real debate, and I cannot see many of those in society in general.
Yeah, especially not in this arena that we've found ourselves in, because I think we're set up for it, for that particular type of debate, subject beforehand, the points, because they're always put up for show as well, aren't they? How you're going to present your case, and then they can have their rebuttals, but you would already know what you're going to say to the rebuttal for their case, because their case would already be shown beforehand.
Yes, yes. This is for benefit for debate, because it is more civil. You and more concise. Not like Brenda, who's coming here and just doing idiotic things.
Yeah.
This is not debate. So if he is writing that Brenda debates, no, Brenda doesn't debate.
Yeah.
What he's doing, this is not debate at all.
Yeah, there is a lot of channels and Discord channels named specifically around that, thinking of Gem Pandas, Flat Earth Debate, and more. Well, they all admit that there's never been a debate. They've never actually hosted a debate. Ever. Or he might do. He might claim to have done it now. I don't know whether there is one.
I think that it has to be that way, that the host is outside and he is just only seeing to the order. Your time is over. You are going silent. Next step, next side, and so on. And equal terms, equal conditions, and just it. On neutral ground, it doesn't mean that it has to be neutral channel. You can invite this let's say judge of the debate to someone's side, and but you have to be honest as the side. It is very difficult to be a debater and host, because this is very difficult to stay neutral. I think that this is nearly impossible.
Mm. Yeah. But it's a good one to go over, the fallacy that Beddy's trying to bring in. He's just trying to check, let's say, for instance, he's trying to check whether you can see the fallacies within a paradox. Well,
yes, but the sad thing is that I showed him fallacies, but he in next chats he didn't refer to my rebuttal at all. He ignored this, and he went on his let's say own script, and his own script was to asking me yes or no question to trap me. So he completely ignored this response.
because I'm studying it, paralogism, I think. I mean, obviously, a sophist would never admit to sophistry.
Of course not.
And is there a way to tell whether someone is a sophist or whether they have the paralogism? Because I think a sophist would attempt to argue around it, because the sophist knows the fallacy. The sophist knows how to try and steer people back to the fallacy to make it real. Whereas a paralogism shows itself by that person's brain just stopping functioning. It's like there's a blind spot. They just can't see it, and they cannot talk about it anymore, because they know that it will be exposed every time they talk to the person that's already exposed it.
Yeah, you can see it in their eyes.
Mm.
Yes, that's why they are immediately making some ad hom arguments or red herring or straw man, because they want to distract you and audience. Even if you have spotted fallacy, and this is, for example, in live stream, they are trying to distract not you, because you are not distracted, but the audience. And they are creating, for example, sheet show, they are playing victims or whatever, they are doing whatever to distract audience from the topic.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad we're getting more people that can see these sort of things together.
And sorry, to be honest, I am not saying that Betty is that kind of person. I don't say that.
Mm. Yeah, we have to expose all of the tricks to let people see that these are ways that people can trick each other or trick other people. Now, we have had the discussion about when Beddy does this type of thing. I mean, it's pretty obvious that Beddy considers himself as a higher intellectual than most of us here, let's say. We're just normal people trying to have a basic understanding of things. And Beddy assumes that he's above us. But that's why Beddy decided to come and give this particular thing to us. It's a premiere, because I don't think he'd get away with trying to give it to the Blue Ops, let's say.
Why not?
Or the globe science community. Well, I think the globe science community has these fallacies and paradoxes built in. They have acceptable paradoxes, whereas we don't. You see a paradox, that's a fallacy to be found.
Yeah, I agree. I just wonder why. I mean, I think they'd accept everything Betty would say, hook, line, and sinker, don't you?
100%.
It is convenient for
100%.
them. If it is going along with... Go on.
Go on, Mike.
No, he brought this in here thinking that, oh, I'm just going to get one over on a bunch of rubes. And it was just, I mean, it was so transparent to literally everybody here. I can't believe that he underestimates us like he does. It just astounds me every time he comes in. I sit there and I'm like, I actually was silent throughout the discussion, plenty of opportunity to walk in. And I'm like, don't need to. I have people that I know are picking apart this as literally in real time, just like I am. And sure enough, like Paper picked up the ball and I'm like, run with it. Like I don't know Paper from a hole in the wall. I'm like, he's going to take this apart so easily. And I'm like, why would he bring this in here? It's just so transparent. The second he started going into it, I'm like, oh, it's over right now.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, and at the end, I mean, God bless you, Paper. You're like, oh, I don't feel he's a sophist, whatever. I do. And actually, a sophist is too nice a word for him. The correct word is dishonest person attempting to get over on other people, which is a con man. He's a con man. It's just as simple as that. And he's been a con man. He's been in a career of con mannery. Why? Because his level of whatever academia he's in is just con men trying to con other men. They just dream up fantasy and then go, oh, we can just make that real. Why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. Why? Because Aristotle created a worldview that we can operate within that, however many hundreds or possibly thousands of years later, people are like, well, how am I going to get a cushy sinecure? How am I going to get, tenure if I don't come up with something new? So let's just introduce a little fallacy. Let's just introduce a little nonsense into
a little
it.
Model.
And
a little model. Yeah.
Yeah. A little modernism into it, a little postmodernism perhaps. And let's play that game. And then we'll just pass around the ball to each other and pat each other on the back and call each other good, old boy. And there you have it. I mean, I've been talking too long, but it was offensive to me. I was just like, how can you possibly think that you can even remotely bring this into a group of people who are studying this and pointing out the minutest parts as, oh, Bev, you're so pedantic. No, it's not pedantic. It's accurate. Anyway, I'll go back on mute, but it was just whatever. I hope you're listening, Betty, you fucking fraud.
Tell us how you really feel, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's the Betty Appreciation Society leader there.
That was a good rant.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Well, Betty did actually come in here at the beginning because of a comment that Mike had put on a Brian's Logic video asking Betty to come in for a chat. So, again, thanks, Mike. This has been like a wonderful journey. But the point I'd like to make is that Betty hasn't attempted to have this discussion or the discussion that he had with that presentation with anyone else. I'm wondering, like Mike has just got that idea that you're being condescended to. Would that occur to the ballers, or would they sort of raise him up and say, well done? You know, that's some good stuff, that, Betty.
Yeah, the latter, I think. They'd have to, right?
But how could
Because
they
I don't
not
think any
see
of them
that?
would get it. Yeah, they wouldn't. There's no way they would get it the way we're getting it, because they haven't even broached Aristotle, because they don't care. They don't care to. They're fine living in their fucking fantasy paradox-filled model. They're fine with it, and good. God bless them. Carry on.
Well, was he not trying to refute Aristotle's logic with it?
Well,
Is that was that not the idea, right? If he wants to come out with it and say Aristotle didn't allow for the paradoxes, well then obviously Aristotle wrote a book so he could spot the fallacies.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you can't see the paradox, then you're not going to look for the fallacy. You're just going to accept the paradox, which is, I think, where we are at the minute with the, a certain model. They do accept paradoxes, and they don't want to look into it to find the fallacy, because, like we say, finding that fallacy would become blasphemous. You can't see the fallacy. It's not allowed. Fallacy destroys the model, and you can't have something that destroys the model when you want to end up with his globe.
This is exactly why all of it put together is exactly why I say the people that do continue to come in here, the Wallies, the Brendas, etc. They must come in here to prop up their cogdis, to soothe it over, so to speak, right? Not to prop it up, to soothe it over, because I think there's a lot of smart people out there, and I think they understand the issue with the paradoxes and their model, and they look at it, and I think they have to come here so that we can tell them they're so full of shit with the crap that they spew, so they can go, oh, I feel better now. I can go back to my model. These people who I don't respect and don't care about and don't give a shit about have just told me I'm full of shit. So thank you. Good. I feel better now. I believe that's true. That's why they come here. Or else why the hell would they come here?
I can't imagine why they would. Especially now. I mean, Betty's given us. I mean, it's coming at the end of Aristotle's organon is sophistical refutations, right? That's gonna be the best part of it. That's hopefully what we're doing here within the trivium and all of that. We go back to first principles, so everybody can have an understanding of how this logic is formed, so everyone can do it themselves. Nobody has to take the word of anybody else. We're hopefully going to arm everyone with the ability to spot all of this stuff. And along with what we've been doing with words and adding the words together and giving them a definition of each thing and pointing at that you have to have the identity of the thing to start off with, and it's how you speak of that and how you can relate that to other things. That's what you do. But the extension of that is to show people the difference between logicians and magicians. One of them speaks upon the real, and the other one tries to persuade you that the real isn't real, or there's trickery involved within magicians, there is zero trickery involved with logicians. I'd say that's the difference, and that's the difference between the fallacies and logic. Being able to see and spot the fallacies.
Yes, because this is because real logician, because logic is not for exercising logic. Logic is for finding truth. So if you are exercising fallacies to and you know that you are doing that, therefore your goal is not truth, and it means that you are dishonest on purpose. So sophist generally is a liar, because he knows that his goal is not to gain truth, because that's why you are avoiding to commit fallacy, because you want truth. But then if you are committing fallacy, and for example I would commit a fallacy during argumentation, I would say that, oh my God, I am mistaken, I am on the wrong way to the truth. I have to go back and make correct path to the truth, because my goal is truth. But sophists, no, or I can go with that wrong way because I don't want truth. My goal is not the truth.
I've got a thing. I bought a little book today. This is in the introduction. It says The Search for Truth. It says, in the modern age where the speed of life is bewildering at times, it is important to make space in our lives to think and reflect upon assumptions and ideas. As Socrates is memorably alleged to have said in relation to the oracle, he, O men, is the wisest, who, like Socrates, knows that his wisdom is in truth worth nothing. Or, put another way, people who acknowledge that they don't actually know anything are wisest. This is not because they possess some higher wisdom than other mortals, but because they know that they do not. The search for truth and the asking of questions is the true purpose of philosophy. Last one. The search for truth and the asking of questions is the true purpose of philosophy.
Yep.
I subscribe.
Me too. That was the first page of that book. I mean, it's pretty obvious why I bought it. You open up and you read that, you go, yeah, I'll have that. That'll do.
Yeah. And what's it called, Bev?
It's just a philosophy for busy people.
Is that the title of the book?
Yeah. Everything you really should know. And it just goes through all of the different philosophers and, the different... It's like pretty short, but a bridge version of everything that everybody does. But it's got a philosophy of religion. It's got Wittgenstein in it. Whistleblowers, self-improvement, ethics. It's pretty good. I mean, I've briefly skimmed over it, but I'm interested in all of that sort of stuff. It's not for people, I don't think. When you take that statement there, the search for truth and the asking of questions to come to that truth, to get as close as you can to it. Well, that's for everyone, isn't it? Isn't that what most of us are here for? to talk to other people, to ask questions and come to find truths. I'm pretty sure that's why people have come to this arena. You don't come here to learn falsehoods or fallacies, to find paradoxes that you accept.
Brenda said that we are here for perpetuating falsehood, as I remember.
Well,
These people cannot bear with truth. I think that even this word is awful for them.
keep getting back to the fallacies. There's a lot of them that have been heard of. Different fallacies, red herring, and I don't know any of the others. Anybody remember the named fallacies?
These are ad-hom fallacies. They are not generally logical fallacies because they are on Arthur Schopenhauer list. They are, I don't know the name in English. I think that it would be called heuristic tricks or something like that of Arthur Schopenhauer. So red herring, distraction, these are not logical fallacies.
What about, have you heard of the Texas sharpshooter fallacy? Right?
They're talking about me?
No, I mean, these fallacies that we have heard of with names, right? Like red herring, like the actual fallacy, I don't think ever gets pointed out. Just the name of it. So, I mean, of the multitude of fallacies that there are out there, and a fallacy is just a false reasoning. It's
Yes,
a flaw in the reasoning, isn't it, that leads you to a false conclusion.
you are right. Therefore, for example, non sequitur doesn't follow. This is logical fallacy, formal logical or formal logic error, begging the question. This is formal logic fallacy. What else? I have nothing in mind. But red herring, this is rather psychological operation. It has nothing to do with logic. This is outside of logic. This is only, you can say, that has something to do with dialectics, but this is not logic. These Arthur Schopenhauer, there are 30 in Schopenhauer list, there are 30. It's called non-meritorical argument. So this is a contradiction in terms, because argument has to be meritorical. Otherwise it is not argument. But you have definition of these heuristic tricks. They are always signed as non-meritorical argument. This is very polite description.
And we will be getting to the fallacies in due time, but it seems like Betty's tried to slip one through, thinking that we don't actually know what the fallacies are yet because we've never been there. But I mean, yeah, we all have functioning brains, and the fallacy, I consider, it's within everybody. When you hear something that doesn't sound correct, and maybe you might not have the time to go over it, you might not have the confidence within yourself to find it and to spot the fallacy, well, eventually in the next few weeks, maybe months, we'll hopefully be able to arm everybody. And once these fallacies, when you learn the fallacy, you can see the fallacy, then it's like seeing a green car, right? You see loads of them, and then you realize that those green cars were already there, but you just see more of them because you're aware of it. I don't know why I use green car. It's like if you get a new car, for instance, you will see loads of other cars like your car. And we wouldn't have done that before, but it's because you become aware of one thing, you see it out there more. And it is the same with these fallacies. Once you see one, you will begin to see more of them, and then you will find it easier for you to spot these fallacies that are occurring within an argument. And most of the time, you already know they're there. Sorry, go on.
There is a name for this effect. It's in linguistics, anyway. When you learn a new word, it's this effect of, oh, you learned a new word, and suddenly you see it and hear it everywhere. I cannot remember the name of this effect, but it's one of those things.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that occurs, but within this sort of thing, it becomes, I think it's why we aren't very favoured within certain debating, let's say, or discussion forums, because this sort of stuff stops the fallacies from being played out, stops the sophists. The sophists don't like this sort of stuff that we're doing, exposing fallacies, exposing the tricks of the trade, let's say, how they can keep an argument ongoing in a circular form. It's because all of these fallacies are played out. Now, you would think that the Globers, let's say, definitely know of all of these fallacies, because that's where they try and point you every time you bring up a certain subject. It doesn't matter what that subject will be. Normally, your specific topic that you're expert at, you know, the one that you know best, they will certainly find the fallacy related to that argument and use that fallacy on you to leave people confused.
One of the tricks of sophist is that if he is spotted on one topic, that's why he is distracting to another, because he hopes that on the next topic you will not spot fallacy, and he's checking on which topic you didn't catch fallacy. Oh, there you are. We can go with that because you didn't spot my fallacy. There we are. Yeah, and he's driving along to his wrong conclusions, and he's happy that you didn't spot fallacy. That's why this is one of reasons why they are always going to moving post goals. Yes.
Goalposts.
Goalposts.
Yeah.
Goalposts. Yes, because they are checking you if has he spot or not. Okay, he spotted. Then we are done here on this topic, because I cannot go any more further. Then they are going to another topic and checking if is fallacy spotted or not. But at the same time, they are preventing opponent from drawing conclusion from from right argumentation. That, for example, in Nathan Oakley shows, it happens always when he's drawing conclusion and, as he says, demolishing opponent's argumentation. They are starting to do everything to distract, to interrupt or whatever. So this is going both ways. Your task as a true logician is to spot fallacy on other side, but the sophists are doing the same but in reverse. They are, as they are spotting your correct argumentation and they are preventing it by distraction, retreating or whatever. At the same time, you are doing the same and they are doing the same but from opposite side. If you can understand what I've just said. They are doing the same from opposite side. They are preventing you from, let's say, speaking truth, and you are preventing sophists from lying, generally.
Yes. I'd say it's the difference between logicians and magicians. Magicians apply any trick they can to stop you from seeing what's actually going on. Whereas a logician will try and show you exactly what's going on.
Yes, and real logician is spotting fallacy and is showing this fallacy because he wants truth. And the magician is covering in his tracks if to be not to be spotted in any case. So that's the difference, because honest logician, even if he commits fallacy, he will admit his mistake and he will reconcile. But magician will never do that.
How would
In
you
opposite.
categorize? Sorry, paper. How would you categorize those that are presenting to the public a asteroid flyby that can be viewed by the public? What would you categorize them as?
Not sure if I know what are you talking about.
Well, I just saw the news headline that there's a supposed 1.1 mile asteroid that's going to do a flyby that the public will be able to view. Now, those of us in this realm, you know that's not true. So how would you think that would be presented, and how would you classify those that are presenting that?
For now, because I don't know about the topic, I cannot say. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a news headline that I saw. When I click on a new tab, the news feed comes up, and I saw that they're presenting an asteroid flyby that they're saying the public will be able to view. And they're telling the public how they can view it. So I'm guessing this is from NASA, of course.
You know, I am not very quick in that things, but you know, the problem for them Globers, NASA, and so on, is that the old films footage is very easy to spot errors in footage, so-called footage. In all films, these landings on the moon.
Yeah, based on what I read, though, they must be doing a flyby of something that people can see through a telescope or binoculars. I didn't completely read the article, but you know, the way I saw it, it read that way.
You
So
know,
they're probably going to let something fly by in the sky at a particular time and date and location, and they're going to say it's an asteroid. You know, I think it's supposed to be between us and the sun, or somewhere close. I can't remember.
you know, this is very difficult to answer because, for example, if they are supposedly sending people to this ISS or whatever it is called. And this is possible that some of these people can be tricked also. I think that this is more and more possible, that people who are going to or it will be possible in the future, even in the close future, that people who will go to ISS or ISS-like devices,
And they'll be convinced they're there.
they will be convinced that they are in space and they are really there where they were told to go.
Well, weren't you here? Was it yesterday that Bev or somebody presented it? Cleary maybe presented something like that, where they convinced 4 or 6 people that they were actually in space, and they were all in a simulator. Did you see that paper?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't got so much time to see news on that topic.
No, it was on here yesterday. I think Cleary put it out. It was in the live chat yesterday. And he was talking about it. But yeah, they actually convinced 4 or 6 people that they were in space and they never left the simulator.
So that's possible. So it is possible.
Oh, sure. I mean, if you do it properly, I'm sure you could convince them. No doubt.
So if
I'm sure I could be convinced. I mean, not anymore, but.
So if they have found a way to deceive people, I am sure that they will work on that to perfect that way.
Yes, I agree. Sorry, I thought you were more familiar with the topic. I apologize. I didn't mean to put you on a spot with that or anything like that.
But I am very concerned why people, for example, still cannot believe that these pictures from the moon are fake. For example, you know this picture with astronaut with allegedly Earth in the background, which is obviously copy pasted there. But in back in the day, when you hadn't got a computer and, for example, Photoshop, you cannot check that this Earth is copy pasted into the picture. But now this is very easy to spot, and
Just
people
for example,
still don't believe that this can be a fake.
Exactly.
When you can demonstrate on your own computer or smartphone, even you can demonstrate that this is for sure fake. No,
and those are the people that their thought process shuts down right there. They don't even want to consider. And for example, I just saw an image of the Earth supposedly from over 1 million miles away. And it's about 6 times bigger than the one that was taken from the moon at 237,000 miles. And people will never pick that up, that the one closer to the Earth should be a lot bigger than the one further from Earth. And people won't put that together.
This is suspension of disbelief is going too far, and they really stop to think critically.
Yeah, there's something going on, paper. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something going on in certain people.
Generally, I think this is brainwashing during education, because if you have, for example, testing system is learning by association, not by thinking.
Correct.
You have to associate, therefore, like animals. This is nothing more than animal training.
I hear you.
So if we have next generation trained on that animal training, then we have effects.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I take a walk through this park that's close to me, and this morning, and as I was walking out, there were probably about 50. It looked like cadets in uniform with eerie badges on their shoulders, and I'm not sure what they were getting ready to train for. Kind of freaked me out. It's like they're hiring a lot of people for some reason.
Problem is that they have to hire less and less people because there are so many useful idiots around there that they will do something for free.
You're right. Are you and I the only ones on the show here today?
No.
It's refreshing. It's
Yeah.
refreshing. Continue on.
Oh, I didn't know if anybody else was listening.
Oh, we're
No.
listening, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's free for all Friday. I take it this is what you want to talk about.
Anything's game, man.
women? Kidding.
I don't know. Is Emma still around?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard Emma in quite a while.
She's got a bad throat. She's trying to stop talking for a bit.
Has she been yelling at people?
She's getting ready for singing.
Is she really? Is she a singer?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That's it. She's got to sing now, hasn't she?
No way.
There she is.
It's either get Emma to talk or to sing, one or the other.
Give us a little sample, Emma.
The dulcet tones of Emma.
Nobody needs to hear that. Nope.
Would it be dulcet tones or sultry sounds?
At the moment, I have no idea with my voice.
Sing California Dreamin'.
Stop it, John. I know where you were going with that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Where did Bev disappear to anyway on the game?
I'm dumpster diving again, seeing if I can get myself killed.
Well, why didn't you take me along?
I didn't know where you were. You'd run off
The
somewhere.
apartment.
Climbing. I'll come up there in a minute. It looks like they're fixed. Oh, reset, sorry. I'll come get you. I've noticed we've got Genesis in the chat.
What chat? Why?
In the
Live.
live chat.
Oh, joy.
I don't know why he's in the live chat. He used to come in and talk, but it's pretty obvious. He's probably far too drunk. He seems to be able to type, though.
He said this chat is the most insulting place he has ever encountered.
But yet they still come in.
He did just say before that we had violent gifts.
Violent gifts?
Yep.
All right.
Come back and get you now then. Yeah. It really irks me, the fact that they'll want to come into the chat and say stupid things, which, I mean, like, not just minorly stupid things, but like literally ridiculous stupid things, and think that it's some sort of an argument. And Genesis pretends to be some sort of lecturer or something, some mathematical genius, but he just sits in there talking rubbish. Like he's talking about fairy tales, and I think he thinks logic is a fairy tale. And I'm not so sure Emma believes anything anybody tells her. Far wiser than that. I've only done the ones down the bottom here. So Genesis, if you're listening in, feel free to come in. It's free for all Friday, so you can come and have a talk about whatever you want. Talk about how many beers you're drinking until everybody else gets bored of you. Or just sit in the chat talking shit. Wow, there you go. There's a lie. George is much better than... Well, it's a shame that we had to ban George for being a doxer. But, hey. At least one thing we know is that Genesis isn't as good as George at mathematics. Have you ever seen George's globe differential leveling, Genesis? Because I'd call that mathematics, part of mathematics. And it's shocking. So if you're saying you're worse than George, Genesis, it's a good job you're not coming in. Because that's pretty poor.
Maybe Genesis would like to give us his thoughts on differential leveling.
I wonder whether Genesis will give us his thoughts on Betty's final logical statement about verticals being parallel and such horizontals being parallel. Where is it? Oh, I've lost me here. Lost my thing. Here we go. We'll find this. I might have to go quiet in a bit because we might end up getting shot. There you go. There you go, Genesis. What do you reckon to that? What do you think to Betty's finally? Betty's finale. Just, that sounds better, doesn't it?
I like that, yeah.
Betty's finale. Where he ends with a flourish to just sort of drop and leave like he did with it. What do you think, Genesis? Do you agree with it? Or is the argument valid? And if not, why not? We did listen to him, Genesis. What's up with you? Says, why do you not listen to Bebby instead of just calling him an idiot and chase him off? We didn't chase him off. He did a presentation here. He ran off himself. He ran away when he realised that he couldn't defend his actual argument, which is the one that I've just put there for you, buddy. Genesis, there you go. I'll leave it on the YouTube. Big argument. I can't actually read the Discord, but if somebody can keep us up to date with what he's saying about that if and then statement. Beddies argument. And it's not his per se, it's just a geometric argument that he's found. I think he might have copied it from Saragaki.
I think he mentioned that was his purpose. He was like, thank you for stating it this way. I'm going to use this as an example.
Nice.
So I think that's right.
And I'm the only one who called him an idiot. And the only reason I called him an idiot was because he forgot that he said that horizontal was perpendicular to vertical. I said, that's definitional. Horizontal is perpendicular to vertical. It's definitional. And he said, no.
No.
And then I just clipped his own words.
Pink's down the next one.
And then he ran off.
Yeah, well, it couldn't have been because of that, because there's been many times where people, and not just Mike, has stated what they thought of Betty in the live chat, and he stuck around until Mike called him an idiot. I think he was thicker skinned than that before. But maybe it was the last straw, Mike. I don't know. It was the final straw.
Well, I mean, just how stupid to claim that vertical being perpendicular to horizontal isn't definitional. I mean, he wrote no to that when I said it's definitional.
Of course it's definitional.
I mean, it's so obvious. I was like, where is he even going with this? I knew that he had said it. I'm like, I don't even have to remember that he said it. I'm like, I'll just type in the words vertical and horizontal and from Betty, and I'll find it. And sure enough, I found it. He even used the word define. I didn't even type the word define in my search. I was like, there you go, it's defined. And then he just got all pissy and left. I was like, all right, goodbye. Who needs you? You're a con artist.
Has Genesis said anything about whether that he thinks that's a...
No, he just referred to Bebby. Bebby says that argument is not valid.
Oh.
He offered to explain it to you in VC, but you called him an idiot instead. That's all he said.
Yeah, well, I explained to him it's definitional, and he said no. So, hey, Genesis, put down the firewater, read the argument, read my response, and then get back to me. Enjoy your day.
Well, I'd like to know, because I don't think Betty actually said whether he thought the argument was valid or not. He just left it as a question for us.
Yep, he did.
So
well,
he must have told. He must have told Genesis.
I got him to concede that he felt that the argument was invalid.
Correct. Yeah. After I had brought up that he told me that it was the problem with the formological problem, and then when Bev fixed it, that's when Mike said, "So how about now?" I think something like that, and yeah, he denied it. Said
and
it wasn't.
Then he said it wasn't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And it can't be, right? Even though geometrically, no matter what you think, if you think there's a big E, it's absolutely true. So, cog dis, right? That's why you leave. Or as Mike says, you're a con man who just got called out for being a con man.
My patience runs thin. Bev, you're a patient man.
Well, say I'm not so sure I'm that patient, because I've pretty much had enough of all of this, and they know that as well. I think there's a lot of people that have had enough of the bullshittery that goes on within this.
It's why I'm so thankful that we're going into. I'm going to go into a bad area, but I'll try to speak quickly. I'm so thankful we're going into the trivium right now, and why, like, my Audible queue is loaded up with the Greek classics, and why after the trivium I'm going into Plutarch's Lives.
What's that?
You are breaking. You are
Oh,
breaking.
he's going to a bad area. He did say that. Unfortunately.
I only heard that he was going to Plutarch, but
Yeah.
didn't get what about Plutarch, he said.
I guess
Hopefully he'll
that
come back.
comes back
It's the next
after.
book.
Yeah.
Next book in the queue, Plutarch.
And what is that?
Basically, classical Greek political, historical, populist, Caesar kind of history.
He wrote work about famous people in the ancient era. He
Correct.
wrote their
Correct.
let's say biographies, but there are many of them are far-fetched.
Most of them.
Yes, politics and history. That's why the rulers are hiring historians to write history, because they have interest in that. So let's say that this was history, but bias history.
Absolutely. 100%.
Right. Well, I don't think I'll be getting round to that one just yet.
No, but we should do ethics after we're done with the Organon. I think that ethics should be next on tap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, ethics will be coming probably sooner rather than later. I think ethics will probably come after the fallacies, because I'd like to tie those together.
Yes, because ethics, people think that ethics has nothing to do with logic. I don't know why, but the law is strictly linked to logic, and should be. So there is no way around. Ethics has to be logical.
And that's why it's a good point, Paper, and that's why at least for me, I don't have a problem with the idea of a truth value, even though we've had people argue that demanding a truth value hampers freedom of speech potentially. Not if you understand ethics and how ethics plays with logic, right? Now, sophists and liars and unethical people, yes, they will. They'll say something is the truth when it's a lie. Very true. And they may even be the arbiters of what is truth, or what they think is truth, so that you must agree that a lie is the truth, even though you know the lie is a lie, if that makes sense.
That's why they, for example, the best way to trick people in that way is to change or to superpose definition.
Yep.
For example, for the word of tolerance. Tolerance now is defined, or is people think that it means acceptance. It didn't in the past. Tolerance means that you bear with something. You are struggling with something that you bear with that only.
Yep.
To the limit. The condition is that you are bearing with something. Is that if you wouldn't, it will harm more than not tolerating.
Correct. It's what I've been saying about taking the language, right? Warping the language, skewing
Yeah.
the definitions. It's what's been happening for a very, very long time.
Yes,
And
that's the starting point of Socrates, because
yep.
he starts from definitions. Define what you mean, and then we can proceed. Without it, no proceeding. Because you have to be on the same page with your opponent in discussion. And by the way, many so-called debates ends in this Socratian step, because people are starting to argue about definitions, because for example, sophist has to make his so-called definition so blurry that he can lie afterwards, and the opponent is not allowing to that, and therefore there is end of so-called debate.
There it is. I don't get what's that. What's Genesis doing? Horizontal lines context intersect. Is that isn't one of our memes, that if anybody's looking there on the screen. That's the one that I think WS wrote, or maybe Wally.
If I have time, I will try to deal with this perpendicularity argument or syllogism, because I smell something in that I didn't deal with that yet.
Genesis. I think Beddy has put himself as a shadow giant, right? Definitely to Genesis. Genesis says, I have heard Bebby explain that it is not valid. We've never heard him explain that it's not valid. We've heard him say, or, well, I've never heard him say that. He said it to Mike, and now Genesis has said that he has heard Bebby explain that it's not valid. And Genesis says he can't explain why. I'd suggest because he hasn't actually heard Beddy try and explain why it's not a valid argument. I have heard Beddy explain that it is not valid. I can't explain why, says Genesis.
I haven't heard Betty explaining that.
No. It's impossible, Genesis. But, I mean, you can state you heard things that you didn't hear. Ooh. I think it's been done, this, hasn't it?
Some weird text just went over. Did you see that?
No. What?
Someone put, "Are you going through my bins or something?"
Where? Oh, access granted. What's that?
Oh my goodness, I have no idea. I have no idea what is going on.
Lol. Yeah. I got an access granted.
Yeah, I think the entire game did.
Did you get access granted come above your
Yep.
head?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, there's loads of people putting that.
Genesis, why not contact a professional mathematician to explain this?
Yeah. LSPD announcement. Dear citizens of Los Santos, they are our bins.
Nice.
These mathematicians will explain this with Aristotelian logic or Aristotle's logic or
I don't
modern
think
logic.
so. Yeah, the latter, I think, paper. Or no logic at all.
That is a strange thing that I've worked out, that Aristotle had some logic. He wrote it down in a book, right? It wasn't his logic, because there's no such thing. He just wrote the guidelines of the book that help people work out what logic is and what it isn't and how to use it. That's it. Now, where the other logics come from, I haven't got a clue.
There's only one logic.
Yeah.
For humankind. If there were different logics, therefore human species would be divided into some other species also. And I have no idea how we would communicate with so-called people with other logic. Because to communicate you have to use only one logic, and it works in different languages the same. You have a subject, object, predicaments, and so on in every language.
Yeah, well, you see the difficulty in that when certain people come around here, right? The difficulty in communicating.
Yes, but only when they cannot speak logically. Because if you, for example, if you are learning new language, if there were different logics for different nations, for example, you would be not able to learn the foreign language. Because your so-called your logic is based on your native language. Therefore, you can be you wouldn't be able to learn a new language with different logics inside.
Yeah. It's the way you can use reasoning. I think somebody said logic is the science of reasoning, which I quite like. Because it is a way to find a proof, right? You find an answer that you pose a question and devise an answer. That answer is reasoned.
I would say that logic is way of thinking, or the tool of thinking. But I agree. Logic is tool to get you to the truth.
I've done that one, Emma. Next one.
Oh, it was so hilarious earlier. I saw this one guy in your game. He has put trash cans as his profile picture. He's all about dumpster diving.
He's owning the dumpsters.
Yep.
Did he have a business suit, or was he wearing pink?
Oh, I was just shown his profile picture, so I don't know. Apparently, he's one of these people in this gang who wants to control the dumpsters.
If he one of the pinks, then yeah. That's good. We'll have to go back to. We're due for an update. I don't know what it is. Hopefully, within the stats.
Did you see that in the live chat?
Oh, he's doing blues. Nice.
He's going to explain it all on Monday on Blues.
Well done, Betty. You finally get in to talk logic to the Blue Ops team.
Blues? What does it mean on blues? I don't get it.
Blue Marble Science.
Ah,
He's taking logic to the globe, to the heart of the globers again.
So he will be on expert channel.
He's a brave man, attempting to take that to those people over there. I said to Betty at the beginning, like it would give him a bad name for him to go over there and try and say things about logic, because obviously they don't want to talk logic. It's blasphemous for them to even consider it. But well done, Betty, for doing that. We'll go over it at a later date, maybe. We can go over it later on in the week. But that will be good, Betty. All good luck to you, trying to explain logic to the Blue Ops gang. I'm guessing Rumpus will be there to back you up. Blue's second in command. And obviously you'll have George, the expert mathematician. Thinks straight lines, curve. Just stand around in the game now waiting for the update.
Maybe they could logic Googleistic line.
Googleistic lines of variable potential.
Yeah, maybe they can logic that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounded like definition.
Sounded like dodo to me. Sounded like suppose it doesn't exist.
It's been around forever. You guys ever heard of it?
Yeah, ever since they made Google Maps, the Googleistic lines of variable potential have been there to unclamp for anyone. That's right, isn't it, Blue? And now we've got Betty's going to go and explain to them how Aristotle's logic isn't valid. Or something like that. Maybe what he's trying to say is if you write a valid logical statement with some of the words missing, then you could probably have a concept that it's not valid. Maybe that's what he's going for. Yeah, Genesis. I would have to say I'll put that as well. Will you attend? I can't attend either. Banned from Blues server. Anybody else banned from Blues server? Genesis is asking, will we?
I think we're all banned.
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah, but I mean,
most all of us are banned.
Gadget might have made it back in.
I am not banned because I was never there yet.
Paper doesn't exist.
Yeah, well, all you have to do, I think, is sign up over there, and he'll label you as being over here, and then you will be banned. Because that's the way Blue works, I think.
So you can be virtually banned also?
Yeah, yeah, pre-banned.
In case you were thinking about joining, don't.
But Paper might be able to get in with Betty. Betty might want to be able to have that conversation, because who's Betty going to have that conversation with? Who do they have over there that is on the same level as Paper that Betty could converse with? You know, as though those two are talking about it. Because, I mean, it was a good conversation, right, to listen to. I don't think Betty's going to get that same sort of thing when he goes over
He doesn't want it.
I hope he does.
Doesn't want that. No. He doesn't want that. And Paper would just destroy him again, so...
What? Who would be the Globe voice of logic? To question Betty.
Your guess is as good as mine there.
SE's not banned. He was banned. Has he been allowed back in again? Has he been unbanned, Genesis? Do we have Blue's word that SE has been unbanned? Oh, look, Stark Odder's come in as well. What does Stark Odder think about Betty's logic?
Kevlar says he needs someone to get him banned over there. No rad. he needs someone to get him banned over there.
Oh, that wouldn't take long for you, Kev.
No
I'm
way,
pretty
man.
Pretty sure you could do it on your own.
Couple seconds.
Yeah,
Maybe you should go over there on Monday.
I'm back in downloading the update. Stark Odder's gone again. Not wise, Stark Odder coming. Stark Otter, see, Stark Otter should definitely be against that, because Stark Otter thinks that triangles with more than 180 degrees prove that verticals aren't parallel. So that'd go against Betty's...
Yeah.
final statement or final argument. Have we got anybody to say anything other than Genesis? We've got Genesis to say that Betty said it's not valid, but
He
still
said that.
nobody else other than that.
Yeah, basically. He also said that he heard Bebby explain why it's not valid, but he doesn't understand what Bebby said, so it's just gonna go with
He
Bebby.
can't repeat it. He can't possibly justify what he heard or try
Ask him
to
to write
attempt it. Yeah.
Ask him to write it down for him. Ask Genesis to ask Betty to write it down for him.
Yeah, maybe he didn't hear the why not bit of it. Just what Betty thinks, whether it is or isn't valid. Oh, here we go. Look, he's doing it. This will be a definitive answer from Stark Otter coming here. Should be good.
I've got my own bet as to what it is.
Something referring to Betty, right? Betty is the shadow giant now.
It could be, but
Yeah.
I think it. Yeah, I was wrong. Damn it.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh no, that was to Saragaki, not to you. So I'm still in the hunt. I can't write English as he's writing English. Yeah. Good, Genesis. You need another drink. You need another water, another fire water.
Oh, another download.
Does Stark Otter ever come in and comment on any of you guys' stuff when you're in here talking? Or is it just...
Stark Otter imagines himself as the mathematician in the group. Therefore, he's been assigned any geometric statements, and it seems like since they don't want to come and talk to me about the geometry because I'm always here and they can come anytime and we can go over it thoroughly, they like to try and, don't know, you've brought the perpendicularity statement, and Stark Otter imagines himself as a globogician, right? A globogician. Yeah, only answered one of them, Stark Otter. Because yes, it is valid. The second one doesn't need answering. Once you fix the statement, then it is valid. If Beddy's told you it isn't, why did he tell you it wasn't? What did Beddy answer? Because we answer yes. What do you answer, Stark Otter? I take it you are listening in.
These people never will give you a citation.
I know.
This is the first rule of globbers and similar. They will never give you citation.
Yeah. It's the first rule of globviscation. Never define anything. Right, I'm back in. He gave his own proof.
I assume with own logic also.
It's I don't know. Have you ever seen his logic?
No, no.
Oh
But
man, you would love
I
it.
blindly assume.
Oh, can you get it? Yeah.
He gave three single angles, and then yeah, I don't know what else. What can you do with three single angles?
You're gonna love this one.
Oh, Rumpus is here.
Oh boy.
Oh, Rumpus won't be coming in. See you later, Rumpus.
War is coming.
Right. See if we can find that for you. Agents Live, yeah? Quite a bit ago. We've gone over all of the geometry and square root 2. There's loads of stuff in here, you know. Perpendicularity proofs. Surprising. Here we go. Copy image. Oh, what? It won't even let me copy image. Let's see if it'll let me do it like that. And in the live chat, just for you, there you go. Check that out. Paper. This is Stark Odder. And he's even put a thumbs up and a strong arm. You want to see a fallacy? Or a paralogism? Fallacious logic? Non sequitur? It's got just about everything in here. He even wrote it like in a way that it makes it look like it's real, even like he's pulled it from a book. He's not made it up himself. Somebody else has done it. It's a bit small though, isn't it? Right. I'll get a bit better of a screenshot of it. Bigger. Right, here we go. Here's the top half of it. Is that better? Hey, that's much better, isn't it? I'll get the other one while you're looking at that one.
Yes, I can see that. But I don't think that I have a cool head at this hour to to deal with that.
This is hilarious. Actually measured. And he's even added some bits in here that aren't actually in it at the bottom when you come to the other bit. And then boom. So that's the top half and the bottom half of the same thing.
Yes, yes.
Just a bit better so you can read it easier. Three triangles he's got there, rather than just one triangle. And then he thinks he can add angles to triangles to prove that parallels aren't, verticals aren't parallel because of some sort of relationship of a triangle. That's Stark Odder, that. Stark Odder, ladies and gentlemen. The globe mathematician or geometer that seems to think that if you can prove triangles have more than 180 degrees, then you can prove verticals aren't parallel.
I cannot understand what one thing has to do with the other.
That's why I said non sequitur. Like it's a genius one. It's like there's no relation from one to the other at all.
To establish vertical line, you need only one line to compare. It means horizontal. So I don't understand why do you need a triangle for that.
I think that's what they do, right? The bullshit meter is so fucking high that you're left aghast at what's going on. Like what you're reading, you're going, like, how can you even make that into an argument?
I don't know. I don't know how so-called triangles with more than 180 degree can prove that verticals are what not parallel. Yes.
Yeah. So what you do is you say there are proofs within mathematics and geometry that a triangle has the sum of two right angles. Right? There are actual proofs of that. So what he's saying is you can find a disproof of that triangles with having that. And because of that disproof of that, you can then imply that verticals aren't parallel somehow.
This is very complicated. I think on purpose.
It's advanced mathematics, isn't it? Advanced globe mathematics.
And we cannot obviously understand that.
Well, I mean, who could?
It's an advanced parallelism.
And he can't even talk about it. That's how advanced it is. He's willing to just sit in the chat putting strong arms on it as well. I don't know what's changed in the game at the minute. I think Genesis has been on his liquid refreshment for a little bit too long. He says this. Genesis says the strongest argument ever is I don't know. Bev has never used that. Guess it makes sense. When you've had that much to drink. Rumpus still in, or is Rumpus left because he's couldn't
Yeah, he's not in the
present?
voice, but he's in the chat.
Is he? Oh,
Yes, he's.
that's the blocked one, is it? I must have blocked Rumpus. Sorry,
Also
Rumpus.
in the chat. Yes, he
Yeah.
is, and he is now. He is insulting who? He is insulting Mike Jones, I think.
Yeah, I think he's just insulting anybody and everybody talking to him at the moment.
Yeah, well,
Yes,
that'd be all right. He'd be
because we
upset
are.
because I'm sorry, Rumpus. Nobody's getting to see it. It's unfortunate.
Rumpus is writing or saying the same things for years. So this is nothing new. We are stupid. We don't understand. Idiots and so on. Because we don't understand his model of his models of refraction, for
model?
example. Yes,
Has
has
he made a
models.
model?
He made years ago. It was on Oakley's show when he was not expelled even from there. He present on, or maybe it was on Ranty show. But I think maybe on both. He created his own model of refraction to prove that the Earth is a globe, of course.
Right. Nice. I've never seen that. He must have got bored presenting it.
Yes, he was torturing us, not it means viewers, for many hours in total.
No, Genesis, I'm not drunk. I don't do drink. Don't drink it. Don't drink alcohol on any night of the week. In fact, it's been a few years since I've had a drink of alcohol. Can't see the point in it. You just make yourself stupid, look stupid. You end up saying stupid things. I know, it's like a Dutch courage type thing. I'm wondering whether Betty will be at Rumpus's test. Should be a good get together, that.
I wonder if any of the news stations he contacted were interested in showing up also.
The newspapers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Gadget said he's got a mate that's in that sort of stuff. media said he'd be interested in going down there. And I mean, who wouldn't? It's historic.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody's done that before.
Yeah. Brand new. The full nutsack drop, non-reciprocal. Could you call it semi-reciprocal? Does that sound good? Semi-reciprocal sighting of a flagpole to prove the nutsack drop for the globe. Slope. He did say he was going to do a water level as well. Wonder whether he's still going to do that. I noticed last night with Alpha as well in Saragaki. I can't see what Rumpus is writing. Stupid blocked messages.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tangent at a point is equated to the horizontal at a point.
Yeah, this is what it is, isn't it? They think that a tangent point, which obviously there is only one point, that's the point of the tangent, point of tangency. They think they can just, at that point, you can have horizontal, you can have perpendicular, you can have vertical, you can have right angles, you can have whatever you want at that point. It's a magic point to them for some reason. It's just a tangent point, Trumpus. There's nothing magical about it.
Mm-hmm. The point at which a
One
straight line
amongst
touches.
another points. You can draw vertical on every point of this line.
On the horizontal, yeah. Well, perpendicular, yeah.
But while this one only point is magical, you can use only this one, because this one point is horizontal.
Frick's sake.
Other points are not horizontal to vertical.
It's so good. Did you see Mobius yesterday, or 2 days ago, I think it was. Was it Mobius? They were leveling something anyway, and some coworker had said, you have to put the level in the middle. So that's actually in real life. So you know that guy has been online.
Yeah.
So he knows advanced geometry.
Oh man.
Oh, is Genesis coming as well? Look at this party. I hope you're not trying to invite us to Rumpus's test, Genesis. I don't know whether you've been allowed to give that go ahead. Sounds a bit risky. You might want to check. I hope George isn't doxing everybody over there, Genesis, in Blue Ops. I don't require a visit. Just speaking for myself, not speaking for Emma or anything like that. I think I'll get around quite well without meeting Genesis knocking on my door. You're going to Disneyland in France, Paris? surprised Rumpus is still here. Doing well.
He's doing the George Googled the name Mike Jones and found a Mike Jones that went to prison. And so now it's well the guy named Mike Jones on Bev's channel went to prison. That's his thing.
He's the logic portrayer, right? He's better logic than you.
Yeah, that's logical.
Yeah, Mike Jones. I found a Mike Jones that went to prison, so therefore, so fucking retarded.
Wonderful.
Jeff gets it in the YouTube chat. Yeah, okay, I'll get on that now.
It drives George crazy that I blocked my number when he posted his cell phone number in the live chat and asked me to call him. I was smart enough to star 69 that shit.
Well, I noticed as well in my memberships, somebody who's been a member for 9 months has had a channel deleted. I don't know who that is. If anybody knows who it is, give us a shout, especially if you have a new channel. Let us know. We'll put a shout out.
I don't even know. What do you mean, like a YouTube channel?
Yeah. One of my members on the YouTube channel we're on now has had it just says, the channel has been deleted.
Oh, it's probably my old channel.
They rejoined 10 days ago, and then I've had the channel
no, that
deleted.
wasn't me. No, I definitely had. I've had like 7 Twitter accounts deleted. You just can't say things.
Yeah.
Certain words that you're not allowed to say. Who knew?
So do you hid?
What's that?
Askin said he's made a mistake hiding somebody. Oh, wow, look at that. Jeff Gashead.
Yeah, my bad.
No problem. But I don't know where it is. There's a lot of names in here. Anamorphic Mind. Oh. Bertie Charlie. M. Stone. Tangent Level Earther. Oh, there's loads of these, isn't there? Research Flat Moons Band. They. Brad Boy Chuck. There's loads of them. Chucky Brad Boy. But all these people with about 8 different accounts. Oh, it's struggling to find it in here. There's quite a few people banned. Or hidden, rather. Doesn't seem to put them at the end, I don't think. Are you sure you hid him?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I might have to go through it at some other point.
Was that you, Kevin, earlier about how they come here to sort of be told how ridiculous their claims are to
Yeah, so they can feel better about it.
Yeah, kind of like, I need to do 3 Hail Marys today. I need to be called ridiculous 3 times today. Yeah, that was really good, that little rant there. I just wanted to say, spot on. I haven't thought about it that way before you put it in words. That was really nice.
Yeah, I can't see any other reason why they would continue to come. Because it doesn't bother us. They have to know it doesn't bother us at all.
Right.
And they have to know that they're not dealing with a bunch of idiots, despite what Rumpus would say. Because
And they also,
yeah, go ahead.
and they also know how easy it is to just leave the server and don't watch the YouTube stream.
I know, right? I know. I mean, they've gotten their asses handed to them by you, by paper. I mean, by Mike in a live chat all the time, right? So I don't understand why come here. It has to be the reason. It is. I like how you said it. You know, it's the Hail Marys and the Our Fathers for them.
Yeah.
Go in here, get your get your whipping, and then you can go back out, show your stripes, and say, "Yep, there you go. I feel good. Feel good."
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Oh God.
Yeah, I did get warned off.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for that one before I have to head to bed myself.
Yeah, sure. Sleep well.
Bye, guys.
They all. Good night, Saragaki.
Yeah,
They all
night,
try to. They all try to flex their, like, phony academic credentials.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I bet that Bebby probably has, some sort of reasonably mediocre university degree, and maybe he's managed to find himself a cushy gig, or that he retired from at some point. But I kind of doubt that he's got any sort of serious credentials of any kind. He seems like a sophist, and even if he did have credentials, like, who cares? They're meaningless. In the age of Google, especially the stuff that he knows, you can literally Google anything at this point.
Yeah,
His entire
for the model and the
knowledge
shadow
is
giants, you literally can Google anything, and the standard answer will be given, won't it?
right, and you'll get the standard answer, and you'll be like, okay, well, let's break down the standard answer and see how it. You get a group of people that takes the standard answer and then holds it up to any sort of light and says, okay, well, let's look at this from 100 different ways. If it starts to fall apart, and most of them do, then you go, okay, well, we can discard that, and let's move on to, let's just try to get back to the basics, which is why I love this place, because let's just break it down to something that we can all know. What can we know? Let's find something that we can all know. Let's agree on terms. Let's look at something from as many angles as we want. And like, you look at the organ head, like, wow, it's going to take forever to get through this. And then after a while, it's like, it's a good thing it's taking a long time to get through this, because there's a lot of nuance to this.
Yeah.
Of an in, right? And then you see where the wizards want to drive a truck through that tunnel.
Yeah.
The of and in tunnel, right?
Exactly.
A wizard shows up and goes, oh, look at this. Oh, we can do? We can fuck with of and in. And then you see one of them do it, and it's like going to see Penn and Teller, where somebody goes, okay, now we're going to show you the trick.
Yeah.
Oh, we've seen the trick. Now what? Now what do you do, wizard? We've seen the trick. Once you've seen the trick, it's over. You can't do the trick anymore. The trick doesn't work. Betty tried to do the trick.
On a bunch of people that call out magicians for a living, practically. That's the thing.
I mean, it's offensive. I used to love watching magic, and unfortunately, because of YouTube and because of like Penn and Teller, you watch magic enough and you watch people go, oh, here's how you do that trick. I now can spot like 95% of the tricks. There's only a handful of things that even get by me anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, but that Penn and Teller thing exposed that anyway, because like you had to fool Penn and Teller, who were the ones that expose it, right?
Right.
Like, so even then you knew that the premise of the whole thing was, it's a trick. And can you get it past these guys?
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's face it, everything is a trick. I mean, everything that's not a truth is a trick.
Yeah.
And people who are trying to get them over on you are either entertainers or dishonest. At least if you come forward and say, I'm an entertainer, I'm here to do tricks, then that's at least being honest about what you're doing.
Genesis. Rumpus is gone, has he? That's good.
I think so. He didn't stay around long.
I challenged his academic credentials and he ran away. He always tries to pull that, oh, you're uneducated, you're all morons. I'm like, all right, well, tell us about your credentials, big guy.
Yeah,
Nothing.
can't wait till he starts looking through his auto level.
It's gotta be so great. Have you talked about George like wanting to like privatize the initial the initial measurements?
Yeah.
I saw that. I just saw that. I was like, oh, look at this. George is trying to hide the initial measurements because they
There's
might
a
not go well.
surprise. Yeah, George might be onto something there, right? They might have been saying, George, don't publicize it so much. Calm down. Get the screen on. What Genesis has obviously been drinking too much. I'm not too sure. He's lost himself in some sort of bullshittery. It must be unfortunate when you start talking about emojis. Should lay off the firewater, Genesis. For tonight. Seems like you're not capable anymore.
Emojis and violent gifs.
Violent gifs, yeah.
Death by GIF.
You get offended at violent gifs. You get hurt. You must actually have to have physical pain caused
The slap
by one
gifs.
of the gifts. Yeah.
We've gotten big on the slap gifs.
Yeah,
The slap gifs are the best.
I have noticed that.
J-Ro is the king of the slap gif. And the tricks just don't work anymore. It's like it's over.
Yeah. Yeah, once we start on the fallacies, I believe already that most of the fallacies and most of the thing that these people do, it's just a waste of time. And we've seen all of the arguments that come, we particularly know which arguments to avoid now, because you know where the argument's going to go. They're all just obfuscation points. Go and take this stuff back. Anyone fancy shifting the topic to anything other than why are they asking questions of numbers? Does anybody know what that is? Is it meant to be something? Is anyone opposing you drunk? Is the logical arguments over? Is that a question? Genesis? Is there anybody opposing us? Would be the question one. I don't think anybody's opposing us at all. So, don't know. Genesis, what do you mean by that? Yes. Must be a shame you were to be that drunk. You're not even sure what you're saying. Mud balls. Possibly. See you later, Kevin. Thanks for coming. What time is it? It's only early. Everybody dropping off. Well, I don't mind ending it. It's Friday night, free for all. Anybody want to say anything? Oh, we're just ending it for tonight. I'll be fine with that. Doing some gaming. Genesis. I think I'll end it to stop Genesis from making Phil out of himself anymore. Okay. Anyone got a Buster song that you want? Can't do another one of those ones. Greatest speech. Charlie Chaplin. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Free for all Fridays. It's been a good one. It's been a good week this week. I hope we can do what we did this week next week again. We might be back over the weekend, but I doubt it. Might be if there's something good. We might switch it on. So, Buster's show, singing us out. Well, not Buster this time. Buster Music. See you Monday. This Monday will be Model Affliction Monday with a university professor asking, is the earth flat? No joke. We'll be going over a video from a university. It's going to be good. Join us then.
You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Let us fight to free the world. Let us all unite. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. Let us fight to free the world. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You are men. Let us fight to free the world. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. A decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight for a world of reason. A world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite. Let us fight to free the world. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. You, the people, have the power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight for a world of reason. A world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite.